So just another student that I wanted you all to meet, and I I can't imagine like having more fun than being with my students. Every time I'm with them, I get lit up. They light me up. So it's so much fun, and everybody has a unique story, and that's what I love. I don't know if you've seen this yet, Sandy, but I put a little montage together with some of you on what the community has kind of done for you. And so it's so neat because in there it's like we're all so different, but we're all so similar. And so what I hope to do in these little lives is for people just to see that, to see one word or one phrase that somebody can hear that is like, oh yeah, I so get that. I felt that way too. And so that's why I really like to talk about like the experience. Everybody, like, I think most of you guys did a workshop with me or met me somehow through a free training, but you all had something resonated for you that made you take the next step. And so can we just start off by saying like who you are, where you're from, and then a little bit about where you were when we met? That would be great.
Sure. My name is Sandy Stalmach, and I'm in northwestern Ontario, but it's kind of a cool spot where I am. I can literally like wave to the people on the US side. We're just separated from Minnesota by a river. So normally without lockdown type stuff, we go back and forth a lot. So it's sort of an Ontario Minnesota mix. It's just norm for us, but not so much these days. But anyways, that's where I live. Very small town in northwestern Ontario. And before meeting Lori, I was, I call it really stuck because when COVID came, I was laid off from my job. And I'm at that part of my life where things are changing. I'm going to be transitioning to being empty nester before too much longer. And that, I don't know, that scares the crap out of me.
Well, it also scares you because your son's going to be going into the military, right?
Yeah.
So that's a little scary.
We have some, some personal experience with what that loss can look like on steroids for our family. So, and that wasn't very long ago, and it's still pretty darn raw. So it's, 500 times worse. But I mean, this is his passion, and so he's my best friend. I will support him no matter what he does. I will always support him. But boy, every day he's here with me is a good day, and I'm loving it. So
you're a little different because a lot of people, the nest is emptied.
Yeah.
And what I love about what you did is you recognized that trouble was coming, or that you recognized that you already started to feel the void. You're like prediction mode, and so you started like Kim Deedy. She started writing her books because she saw that her kids were going to be leaving soon, and so she picked up that passion. So so that was really cool. But I would also like to say that you are a new grandma. You just had a grandbaby.
About not quite 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
It's lockdown, we can't be together, and say that really sucks. That's really hard. So I will be glad when grandma can hold her little girl and sing her Disney songs and Winnie the Pooh and all those things.
So let's go back to, I think you were in the workshop because I remember you telling me that the future you visualization was like a real aha moment for you. And what's interesting is I think a lot of people do that and then they don't continue like with that, like stepping into that. So what was your experience and why, like what was so profound about it, and what did it do for you, really?
I really turned a corner. That made such a huge difference for me because I have studied a little bit about quantum physics, enough to know it's a real thing. And when you taught us how that future self already exists, it didn't take a big leap for me to figure out that that really was factual, and I could work with that. And so
Mm.
when you did the visualization with us, it just really became quite real for me. And so I just took that and really ran with it, and it really surprised me how not so hard that was for me to just carry that with me through my whole day. I found myself talking to that future self, like not in a weird way, but in my head, those conversations, and catching myself, stopping myself with some of the negative things that I used to accept on a regular basis. And I would catch that and be like, no, this is not in alignment. And I see it as a transitioning into that future self now. So I don't know. It really, really hit home for me. And it has just become a part of my regular routine now that I'm transitioning to her. And I relate to her.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just really powerful for me. It made a big difference to getting out of that stuck, because when I first started, I was super scared and I was super stuck and really didn't know what to do about it. And I really didn't know which way to turn, which
Mm-hmm.
job to go to next, where to live, what to do with myself. It
Yeah, well,
was,
I think for you also, you have knowledge, you have wisdom, you have certifications, and you were oblivious to that. Like you weren't even like tapping into that in any way. And it was like, holy moly, when you started saying, "Oh, I did this and I have this," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's a sort of one the certification you have is one that I looked into doing." And so yeah,
I'm,
that's just crazy. Yeah.
I'm just one of those people,
Yeah.
I always wanted to get a degree. And
But you're an example of how we just, suppress our talents,
yeah,
ignore the wisdom that we have and that we brought into this decade, this sixth decade that we have, or I guess maybe it's seventh. If I'm in my 60s, that's my seventh decade, isn't it? That sounds terrible. Well, that sounds worse. I should have a lot more wisdom than I do. But one of the things that we kind of that like the future you is just a little taste of going into that be do have and learning that we learn in the
mhm,
school. And the school, this whole thing, this whole model is like we live in with our current circumstances, waiting to have those things that we want, whereas it's already there and you have to step into that being. And so I think learning that, I know that was key for others as well. I know Laura mentioned it in one of her little snippets. So yeah, so that was just the beginning, and then you made the decision. I guess I want more of this.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
you
mean,
have,
one of the people who just joined, I loved what she said because I asked them to do a survey when they come in, and she said, I got a little taste in the training and I'm hungry for more. And I
oh,
loved that. I loved that. So, yeah, so you were hungry for more and you jumped in. And so, yeah, that future you is a big, big difference. So, what I also know that you really connected with the sisters, the second whole half
sure.
sisters. Yeah. So, can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know for some people that's like kind of being vulnerable is kind of scary. And
Yeah, for sure it is. But you know what? Like before, I just felt so alone. I
mm,
really did. And that made it so much harder. And by doing this, and by the way, going from the workshop to continuing on with you was a no-brainer. There was no way I was going to stop. It
mm,
was very powerful, and I knew that. And so I'm super glad I continued. And meeting the girls just made a huge difference, and we've become friends. We're going to continue to support each other. We talk on a regular basis, and I'm so grateful. I
Yeah.
don't feel like I'm so odd and alone now. There's a lot of us out there. And it's a hard transition because the me that I've been for a really long time has to change. And that's hard. So knowing that you're not alone and supporting each other through that, huge difference. I'm so grateful.
Good. So I'm doing a banner, trying to figure out how to do this now. Yeah. So any questions for Sandy? I have like while we're talking, I want to make sure people know that they're allowed to ask questions. Um, so one thing I want to touch on, because like I'm like super transparent and I like to be real with people. So one thing I want to speak to is this is we never get to the end, right? It's a constant growth. It's a beginning of a new journey, and yes, you get super sparked very quickly if you do the work, but more clarity comes and we continue to evolve and learn. And so we were having a little conversation this morning before we
Yeah.
got on here, and one of the things that I found out you stopped doing, and this is why it's so important, I think, to have a group, to have a coach who holds you accountable, is that you've kind of fallen off the affirmation wagon a bit. And
Yeah.
so things are creeping up with you, and it's like, okay, well, do you have an affirmation around that? Do you have an affirmation that? And I hate the word affirmation because it's so bland and boring. So I call it as if tadations. And I call that to myself. In fact, on my phone, I have, they're really affirmations, but they say as if tadations, because we want to be like, it's happening now. We believe it. We're stepping into it. We know it's coming. It's just a matter of time, but it's already here. So that's why I call them as if tadations, because it's like today they're already done. And so we really need to keep feeding our mind and our soul these beliefs on a daily basis. Life gets in the way. We start feeling good and we start feeling sparked and I got this. And then we kind of like fall off the wagon. It's just like nutrition. It's just like exercise, but we got to keep feeding our brain these positive, empowering thoughts, these pets. So I don't know if you want to add anything into that, but like I just could tell when we talked, like it kind of fed you a little bit of what you needed, and you're like, okay, like you have the tools, right?
You are so right. You know what? I am so grateful for your leadership. You just continue to keep it authentic and relevant and help me stay on track and move to that next step on a regular basis. And you're
Yeah,
right. I guess what I've been busy with, and I mean really pushing, learning my thing,
yes,
right?
yes,
So I've
yeah.
been really busy studying and letting my daily practice of affirmations kind of slack. And yeah, you see the results, and
Mm-hmm.
you're so right. And then two, what I can say, I during working with you, don't not give it 100%. If you're fully present, you will really make those changes, but you have to do the work and you have to keep at it. And
Yeah.
even now, I've made such progress, but I see that, yeah, the
Yeah.
things we learned, I have to stay in it.
Yeah, and I think that's true for everybody. I think that's
It
why the
is.
group is so good, because you see other people
It
having
is.
like transformations and you're like, well, what? Because I that happened to me in my master neurocoaching, is I saw other people doing the work that I was learning, but I wasn't applying to myself. And I was like, wait a minute, like I guess I should be doing that too. And then I started doing it, and then I started to get what, the same thing that they were receiving. So like I think that's the power of the group coaching model that I love so much. So there's a question: what are you certified in that Lori was interested in? Cindy is asking.
Ah,
uh
I have my health coaching certificate from Institute for Integrative Nutrition.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that was kind of expensive. I remember looking at it and I was like, not
Was.
right now.
And it was a lot of work. It was a
It's
whole
Canadian
year.
money, right?
Yeah, it was a big one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, so you have this learning thing that you're always feeling like, I need to know more. I need to know more. We
Yeah,
all do that. And I think, you know, when you have somebody like me that's asking questions, you're going to learn. Like Kim, she was kind of already operating, doing what she really wanted to do, but she just didn't think that she had what it takes. And it was like, just,
Yeah.
yeah, you do, you do. So, and that's really kind of validating. And I think the personality typing too. And when we learn about our spark types and we start to get all this other evidence of what we're born to do and what lights us up, then that's just like more, that feeds the belief, I think.
That was amazing. And working with Alex was
Mm-hmm.
like transformative. I
Yeah.
was shocked by how right on that was. I was like, holy smoke, this is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
They spoke of things that I don't know, it was like almost psychic thing. Like, how'd you know that? But he
Yeah.
did, and it made perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what Alex is able to do is get to the root of who you are and who
Yeah.
you're born to be, because it's in your genes and he can read that. It's like so amazing. So amazing. And it's like not I mean, it's I'm so glad that I found him and that he's been so willing to work with me and my students. It's just a really, really amazing thing. Um, yeah.
He's
And,
beyond.
and he has no more bison humps because of it.
Oh my God. He takes it so to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, but I think it's really important, and that's why I built that into this program over the past year, because it is, how do you know, how do you know what's going to spark you if you don't even know who you are at your core?
Yeah.
You know, it all starts with understanding who you really are, and so
Oh,
many of us are operating because we think we need to be a certain way, because we're so busy trying to please other people, and so many people are, so many women who have been mothers are that's what we do, you know.
mhm.
We it's not, our stuff isn't important, it's the people that we love that's important. And so you got to like, now's your time, to shine, and now's your time to figure that out. And what this is too is such a gift for our children. Like I feel like now that I'm like living my best life and being so sparked and lit up about what I do, like I take this to my kids, because I don't want them living like a life of that's not aligned with their purpose. And I want them to continue to look and search and understand who they are. And I see the potential with my grandchildren. My oldest daughter's teaching, she has a 10-year-old daughter who is a manifester. I mean, she's a crazy manifester. And it's like, she's going to be a different person because she has these beliefs and affirmations and manifestation. And she's empowered. She's a 10-year, she's empowered because she knows that her thoughts create her future. And I think that's a powerful thing that we didn't have. And but you have the opportunity to do it now. So yeah, better late than never, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's
What does
so
your son think? Like, what's his whole take on this, since he sees you every day?
excellent. Like, he's so glad. He doesn't want to see me just feeling left behind and
Yeah.
lost. He's
Yeah.
totally supportive, and he believes in me more than I do.
Yeah.
But you know, he has such passion for his goals
Hmm.
that he's at kind of, you know, getting anxious to get on with that now.
Hmm.
And I understand that. I do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
no, he's really glad that I am working toward being more authentic me. And I don't hate to use the word fulfilled, but doing something I love. He doesn't want to see me just stuck in a job that I hate too.
Yeah.
I've done that for long enough and it served the purpose. But now it would be really great to do something that I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Deborah asks if you found what your true purpose is.
yeah, well, I mean, first and foremost, my true purpose is always going to be mom and grandma. But for myself, I need to work with people. I need to connect with people and have relationship and I've learned that I have way more to give than I gave myself credit for or realized at all. And
Hmm.
that there, Lori also taught me that I'm unique. I felt like, this is all being done before. I have nothing new to offer. And it's so not true. There's
Mm.
only one me, and I can connect with people in just my individual way. And so I do have so much to offer. And I have such a passion for that, that I need to work with that. And if I don't, I am missing what I was meant to do. I know that now.
Yeah.
But it's a journey in growing
Mhm.
that firm belief and not allowing those negative blocks and so on to get in the
Yeah.
road
Well, I think
on
it's
that
like looking
growth.
back, I like to really focus on how you feel, because how you feel, you had zero hope
Oh,
3
yeah.
months ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
now you have clarity, and
Yeah.
you have this deep desire,
Yeah.
and yeah, and you know so much more about yourself that you didn't even have a clue about. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really didn't. I didn't know what way to go. And
Hmm.
although I doubt it's going to be a straight path, it's because it takes time, right? I want
Yeah.
to create something.
Yeah.
I want to coach and I want to develop a program with people that's real and cuts through the crowd.
Yeah.
There's way too much um, information overload out there, and what I want to work on really isn't that complicated. So I
Yeah.
really want to work on something that cuts through the BS and is just more comprehensive for women who feel like that, that
Yeah.
are feeling stuck and scared. I call it 60, scared, scattered, and sick of it, because I really was sick of it, but I
Yeah.
really didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
I'm working on that. And it
Yeah,
feels
I
so
love
good.
when you said, like, you said it in such a way, like, "I have determination." That's what you
Absolutely.
said.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I mean, really,
"I can
I was
feel it."
so, I felt so beaten down before. And
Yeah,
now I know where I'm going. I don't know
yeah,
all the steps yet to get there, but
yeah,
I'm on the path and I'm going to do them. I'll
yeah.
figure it out. I
Yeah,
will
I
learn.
think that I love that because, um, and I felt this way. I was on the wrong path, you know? So,
Mm,
yeah, and it's, you're now on the right path, but you're early, you just started down that path,
I have.
yeah, yeah. And so I
I
love
mean,
that.
that working 14-hour days, just
Hmm.
like I worked so freaking hard, like 14-hour days, Monday to Friday. And then for probably 6 months, driving to the city every Friday night, 5-hour drive, packing a little
Mm,
bit. And then every Sunday, another 5-hour drive back for
mm.
like 6 months, all through winter. It was really hard. I'm still black under the eyes, but you do
So
what
you
you've got
you
to
actually
do.
didn't live, I didn't even know this. You had to go to the city and
Yeah.
live. Oh, I did not know that.
Well, when I was asked to come to the job that I just got laid off of, I had no notice. They said, "We need you tomorrow." And it was such a good opportunity for me
Mm,
that I had to do it, but it meant leaving and not being able to pack or anything. I had to go and
yeah,
do it 2 boxes at a time, very painfully, every weekend for at least 6 months. It was really tiring.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I kind of felt like I was pretty lost after
yeah.
doing that, and it certainly wasn't
Hmm.
feeding my passion in any way. It was just head down and do it, no matter what the cost to me. And the cost was pretty high, but I did what I needed to do. Sure, sheer grit. With that, I see it like a whole, of the what do I do next? I don't know. Things are changing for me. When my son leaves, it's going to be this huge gaping hole, which I'm scared of. I chose to see that as an opportunity.
Hmm.
And so when I started with you and chose that and to continue, it was the absolute 100% right thing. I believe it was destined
Mhm.
because now I'm taking charge of that hole.
Yeah.
It's now an opportunity instead of a
Yeah.
hole. Change the game.
Yeah, and the other thing that I love, and I don't know if I've even stressed this enough, is that this is like once you're with me, right? You're still going to be coming on the coaching calls when you need coaching. Every time I have a new group and I open a new season, we do these calls, and everybody is welcome. Everybody who needs coaching uh, can get coaching. That is something that I think is invaluable because, like I said, we do fall off the wagon and we do need to get back on because
Yeah.
I taught about the 67 days of doing your pets. You got to read, you got to, at the end of 67 days, you got to create new ones because you're a
Yeah.
new person. You've a lot of those pets you've come to believe in, or they've come true, or whatever. And then you basically are up leveled. You're an up leveled, soul. You've come to your next level. And then you're going to have these new ants that come up because of that. I think that don't look at it as just a 90-day and then you're done, or I'm going to stop talking to you because that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in my world. So that when I say lifetime access, people are like, what does that mean? So yeah. So and then as I'm going to be doing going to be changing a little bit of the content inside the course. So everybody gets access to that as well. Who's been, the students that I had earlier in the year, everybody's going to get that. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. We've been on long enough. And I wanted to say, I just got this new coffee cup. It does clash with my plaid, I think, but I bought it I saw it at the grocery store and I loved the saying on it. And I thought, I need to share this with the people in the training. It says, faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. And it
That's
says
awesome.
it's I guess it's from Hebrews 11:1. But anyways, yeah. So that's what that says. It's so neat. I should probably put that as a quote on my Instagram or something. All right. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Well,
much for
thanks,
being here.
dear.
Okay. Bye.
It's been great. Thanks.